In 2021, I quit my 9-to-5 job to go full-time into my brand, and today I'm a full-time YouTuber living abroad here in Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. And I recently spoke to a marketing class about how you can build enough of a brand, not only to quit your 9-to-5, not only to become a full-time YouTuber like I did, but to do it anywhere you want in the world. And today I'm going to release that entire talk for all of you, which includes how to build a brand that scales, the mistake influencers and companies make when trying to get reach and make money on YouTube and other platforms, and so much more. There's so many people I've met that have the dream of doing something like what I did, so I wanted to put this out into the world and hopefully it helps you. And if you're new to my channel, my name's Gruber. I did all of what I just said a couple of years ago, and I share a lot of that here on YouTube. Would love for you to subscribe to the channel and allow me to be your guide for life abroad and what happens in the aftermath of an unfulfilling corporate career. Now here's my talk to the Miami Ad School. I hope you enjoy. What I hope to do today is work through a few different concepts. So I don't know if you have pen, paper, or anything to write with, but or even a notes app in your phone. But to get the most value, I always believe in writing things down, and then we might reflect back later, just so I can hear what you learned. And so often when people reflect back what they learned, other people learn at the same time. So if you've got something to write on, like you do, awesome. I'll give you a little of my story as people are getting ready. I like JG said, I moved here 2.5 years ago with my family. My wife is originally from Uruguay. She immigrated to the United States when she was 12. We met there in Boston, and we've been married 14 years, been together a little over almost 16 years now. And we decided to come here in part because our kids, who are now 9 and 6, excuse me, they were 7 and 4, 2 boys at the time. We wanted them to get some exposure to the other half of their culture, right? I'm American, she's Dominican. They got the American thing, so let's go see what the Dominican thing is all about. And in the 2 years I've been here, I've created a lot of content that's really not, it wasn't as if, like a lot of what I'm going to talk about today is it's kind of learned after the fact. What I mean is I've been creating content for years, 6, 7 years, and I had steady growth, steady growth, steady growth. But when you find kind of your niche, your passion, your audience, you can have explosive growth. So today, what I want to talk about is 3 different priorities I hope you all come away with. And the first one is some of the mechanics of how to build a brand, truly how to build a brand. That's the first thing. The second thing that I want to make sure that all of you take away is a clear focus when you are building a brand on the creative. And I'll explain that a little bit more as we get to it. And then thirdly is making sure that you're using the right metrics and the right platforms. What's interesting about the Dominican Republic, and I don't know how to, but I'll try to explain this the best I can. Some may understand this, some may be like, I don't get it, but go with me. Since coming here for 15 years, what I've seen is tremendous growth, especially in the last 5 or 6 years, and especially in Punta Cana. You know, the highway wasn't here. I remember having to go through Otra Banda, Higüey, La Romana to get to Santo Domingo. It was 11 hours to get to Santo Domingo from here. And then all of a sudden, a couple of years ago, we came and there's this highway that takes you there in 2 hours. It was unbelievable. Credit cards have become, a Colmado takes credit card. Everybody takes credit. The guy selling avocados on the side of the road takes credit cards. Everybody takes credit cards. So all of these things are, I guess I would say, like a few years behind what you see in a place like the United States, but they come. And where we are right now, I feel like from a personal branding standpoint, here in this marketing ecosystem in the Dominican Republic, is all of you, I think, and I hope you get from this tonight, have the opportunity, whether it's building your own brand or helping others build brands, to maybe get a glimpse into what the future looks like, the right platforms, the right metrics, the right way to create, the right creative, that you're going to see, I think, in the next 2-3 years here become a thing. But right now, if you talk to business owners or people who want to leverage social media, they may not quite get it. They may be kind of stuck in what's now, but what really was 3 years ago. And I'll explain that a little bit more in depth. So my point is, I think that branding in the Dominican Republic is going to evolve very, very quickly. I think it's already evolving very, very quickly. And there's a lot of money and a lot of opportunity for anybody in this space if they understand the trends. So I want to get into the trends today. Is that fair? That makes sense? Okay. Is anybody here right now really invested in their own personal brand? Putting out content? Give me an idea of what does your content look like? What platform? What do you do?
Well, I'm currently in the internal debate of whether I should stick to my personal account,
Yep.
like creating content there and showing it off, and it is private, so obviously made it public, or sticking with my working account, that is where I post my work, what I do, my creative work, everything I do there. So mostly I'm trying to get the accounts more humanized, actually posting a lot more, posting more about myself and my process other than just showing what I did.
You're getting into the future.
Yeah.
That's the future. So what I heard is I've got me, and that's private, and then I got what I do, and I'm trying to figure out which one to lean into.
Yeah.
Now,
There are times that both get mixed up.
Yeah.
I show some maybe personal stuff in my work account and then just work on my personal account.
Yep.
So I don't know how to leverage, but just merge them. I don't have.
Okay, that's good. We'll come back to that. You said you were working on a brand. By the way, what platform are you mostly on or are you using?
Right now, just Instagram.
Instagram, figured. Okay, what about you?
Yeah, I'm doing Instagram as my main account as well, and I'm trying to share lifestyle content.
Like what? Give me an example.
Like reading, day-to-day vlogs, and that kind of things.
Good, very good. So it's you, it's your personal. Okay, gotcha. And there was somebody else that said they were there. Was it you?
Well, I said just trying to build myself, not like social media wise.
Okay, what do you mean then? Build
Like,
yourself.
Having a better website, publishing more, creating more, just to, because I'm young, so I
Yeah.
don't have that much experience.
No, that's great. That's great. Okay, cool. All right, that gives me a sense of what the room is all about. All right, let's talk about building a brand. There are some key principles to building a brand if you want to scale and you want to grow. And what you talked about, we'll dive into a little bit. The first one, so before you create a piece of content, before I go there, one more question. Are any of you here because you're maybe wanting to work with brands to help them build their brand? You do. Okay, I just want to make sure if I'm talking in these terms that it's not crazy. So whether you're looking to build your own brand or help somebody build their brand, there's three key elements, three questions that you have to ask yourself or the person that you're helping build the brand. And you got to get really good, clear answers in order to rocket ship a brand, to make a brand take off. The first question is, what do you stand for? Or what do you stand against that creates emotion? So when I ask that question of brands often, what do you stand for? They may say something like, I stand for showing the beauty in the world. And I'm like, that's really cute. That's very sweet, but nobody cares, right? Or, well, what do you stand against? I'm against people who just can't seem to get over their negative mindset. And again, that's very kind. That's a great thing to be against, but it doesn't create emotion. So what do you stand for or what do you stand against that creates emotion? That's the first question. And we can go, maybe we'll use you as an example. We'll dive into it. So that's the first thing. What creates emotion? I'll give you an example for me. When I post content, and I've learned this especially in the Dominican Republic, there is a negative media bias around DR, outside of DR. And here's an example of a post that I did. There was a woman recently who left Punta Cana on a plane, flew to Charlotte, North Carolina, and died on the way. And the headlines said, woman dies on flight mysteriously, or woman dies on flight mysteriously coming back from Dominican Republic, or something like that. And what hit me right away was like, that headline, you know what that says, right? That headline says she went to this nasty little third world country, she caught something there, and she died on the plane back. Because they would never say, woman died mysteriously coming back from New York City or Austin, Texas. They would just say, woman dies mysteriously on plane. She had a stroke. It happens. Nothing related to being here. She didn't go scuba diving. There was nothing crazy about her time here, but she died on a plane. So when I created content around that, it was, again, what do I stand for or against that creates emotion? JG, I mean, we've talked 3 times, so I'm glad to hear you, when you were talking about my brand, which by the way, is really what your brand is. It's not what you think it is. It's what the world thinks your brand is. He said, this guy just has a passion for Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. So when I got on there and I said, this headline pisses me off. I had a green screen of me with the article behind me, And I went through and I said exactly what I just said right now. So people that share that love of country, that hatred for the media, making it look like this terrible third world place. I see all of you like, yeah, that's me. I hate that. They jump right on it. I'm not doing it tactically. I'm not doing it like, ooh, this is going to get them. It really pissed me off. And I shared that with the world. And it got a lot of reach, like a lot of my stuff does, because what I stand for is this place. People don't understand what a hidden gem the Dominican Republic is. And what I stand against is stop talking shit about it. It's way more developed than you realize. I'm against people, bad talking the Dominican Republic. It creates emotion, right? Because it's my emotion. It's authentic. So that's the first question. What do you stand for? What do you stand against? That creates emotion. And it can be hard. It can be hard, but we can go into an example a little bit later. The second question is, okay, with that, what is the unique advantage? What is the unique advantage that you or your brand, if you're working with one, has regarding question one? So in other words, if you have a topic that you're passionate about, I don't know, let's say biohacking. Everybody know what biohacking is?
Yes.
It's like, what supplements to take, red light therapy, cold plunges. There's a bunch of people out there.
Hour to work out.
Yeah, right, exactly. They're wearing the blue blocker glasses, like those orange glasses. If you're a biohacker, I apologize. It's weird to me. But biohackers, right? So something that you might stand against is like these biohackers. They're ridiculous. Now, there's one guy in particular in the biohacking industry that's huge. His name is Dave Asprey. Even better is fucking Dave Asprey. He sucks. Like that's going to create emotion because a lot of people hate that guy. Does that make sense? Like that's the against. So let's say that's my space, right? What is it that my unique advantage is there? Well, maybe I did biohacking and I had a negative result from biohacking because all of the information that people share, especially stupid Dave Asprey about biohacking, actually got me sick. It actually got me, in the hospital or whatever, right? So my unique advantage is, hey, I tried it all and it doesn't work. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. For me, my unique advantage is I'm a gringo that actually lives here. I don't visit, I'm here. Okay? Mm-hmm. So the second question is, what's your unique advantage? Not an advantage, not something that is like, oh, I'm pretty good at this, but uniquely an advantage that you have in the thing that you're for or against. Okay? And the third question to answer when you're building a brand is, who then are you serving? Who are you serving? Who is the person that you're serving? This is what people call defining a niche or your avatar. Maybe you've heard these terms, right? But the reason why that's the third question is until you answer these three, it's really hard for you to create a piece of content knowing what you want to say and how you want to say it. So for example, for me, like I'm passionate about this country and I hate people that talk badly about it. My unique advantage is I'm here. And who I'm serving is Dominican diaspora. That's who I'm serving. It's most of my audience, 95% of my audience are Dominicans living in the United States, Europe, Canada. Some here, but mostly Dominican diaspora. It's not white Americans, right? So I know who I'm serving. I know who I'm speaking to. So I can make content that's funny if I say things like, I had a video where I had there was like the sound of a rapper rapping very fast. And then there's me like looking confused and it just says, me listening to my wife explain the 450 uses of the word vaina. Right? You all get that. But if I haven't figured out what I'm for and against, my unique advantage and who I'm serving, and I put that out just because I want, like, yeah, I'm going to put content out. If you're like, what the hell is a vaina? What's a vaina? I have no idea what that is. Right? So until you know those things and who you're serving, you can't really make the content. My unique advantage is I'm here. That means that it's uncomfortable sometimes. The best thing I can do is actually get out and show you as opposed to doing it from a studio. Go for it.
In your case, regarding your target audience, was it something that you knew since the beginning that you wanted to share content for that kind of people? Or was it something that came along on the way? Like, were most of the Dominicans that consumed your content then?
No, the Dominican Americans started consuming my content when I started doing this content. It was a mix. Like I kind of knew who I was speaking to an extent. I didn't know it was going to be like all of them. Does that make sense? Like I didn't expect it to be like, wow, all right, I guess my entire audience is Dominican diaspora. But I had a sense of like, all right, I kind of know who this audience is going to be. And as you get more and more clarity, and as you grow, you do get more and more clarity through interaction with people. Like, oh, okay, I kind of get what my audience is. You can further hone these questions. You can further hone these questions. So the idea is, yeah, you want to start with this, and then as your audience grows, it could shift, it could morph, it could become something a little different, and you can also get intentional in trying to expand your audience in different ways. But yeah, you want to at least start with a target that you're going for, and then allow that to grow. Make sense?
Yes, of course. Thank you.
So that's building a brand. First thing you have to do is answer those 3 questions, okay? See, I jotted in a couple of notes. See if there's anything I want to dive into a little bit more. Oh, actually, I will say this. So here's another tool you can use in that. So let's say you're trying to decide, right? Like, okay, what do I do? How do I do this or whatever? Okay, I'm going to talk about what I'm for or against. What am I for? What am I against? That's really like, that makes me so excited or so annoyed, right? One of those 2 things is kind of the thing you're for or against. And my unique advantage is whatever it is. And so I'm going to serve these people, and you define all of that. Another way to really grow your brand is to take that, whatever all that is, you know who you're doing it for, and hyper localize it. Meaning, rather than being the person in that niche, period, be the person in that niche in Punta Cana Village, or the person in that niche in Jarabacoa, or the person in that niche in Santo Domingo. All right? The more you localize and the more you dig down and the more that you get to a specific audience, it's like drilling for oil. You ever see how oil gets drilled? You ever see it? It's about that big, right? And it goes straight down into the ground. And when it goes deep enough, the oil comes up. What they don't do is take a big wide thing and just start like, digging a little bit into the ground. They don't dig, this far in with big drill bits. They drill with a drill bit that big straight down. So when you do the same thing, when you become known as the artist guy who is in Santo Domingo doing graffiti art, and the people within, Piantini and Naco know you, and you're like the guy in those 2 neighborhoods, that's where your growth will come. Because now they're going to start doing something in this next part that I'm going to talk about. That's the most important metric in all of social media that will help you grow your brand. So you don't have to localize, but a tactic is to localize. If you can localize, you can get even more specific on your audience. And again, think about the language. Right? If you live in Punta Cana, there might be some landmarks here that make sense to Punta Cana. I always talk about that Doña Pula statue. Everybody gets it. I like this dumb-looking giant Doña Pula statue, which is goofy statue in the middle of the road, right? Like, but if you're in Santiago, you might feel like, wait a minute, Doña Pula is amazing. We love Doña Pula. They get insulted. Santiago people get insulted with everything, I've learned. But that's my own thing. Any Santiagans here? Yeah. We got one? Insulted with everything.
If I deny that, I will give him the reason. So
Exactly. Same strategy here. I'm like,
Right. Oh, Santiago.
I'm from Santiago, so
I get it. I have a loving relationship with Santiago people. Like it's not. I don't hate Santiago at all. People think I do sometimes.
No way to hate it.
No, I know. People think I do sometimes, but I always kind of throw it in there like, hey, by the way, don't worry, Santiago people, I love you too, right? Because they're always like, well, what about us? I was going to do a video about that. Like, this is somebody from Punta Cana, kind of high society, and then somebody from Santo Domingo, like dancing or whatever, and then somebody from Santiago, like way far away going, don't forget about us. Because that's what I see as I look around the country. But anyway, so localizing. So if you're localizing, you can talk local language, and that makes you even more endearing to a certain population. And the funny thing is, when you go through all of this, your growth comes, and more people find you when you're more targeted on 1 or 2 type of people that you're really, really trying to get to. Meaning, you think like, well, if I'm only going to talk to 25 to 30-year-old men in Punta Cana, I'm limiting my market. But what happens is, that market becomes a passionate fan of yours, and it starts to spread out to all the other markets that you're not targeting, and they get it. They understand who you are targeting, and hey, hun, you should see this guy. He's like you. So a woman might see the content and send it to her boyfriend or her husband, who is your target audience. Does that make sense? Yes. The more specific and the more dialed in you get, the more emotion you can create, the more your brand is going to explode. Okay?
I have a question. For
Yeah.
So building my brand based on me,
Mm-hmm.
about my passions, and that's so. Find a niche is so hard because I love fashion, I love books,
Sure.
creative, I love DIY, so how can I find a niche when I have a lot of passion and como que a lot of things?
Yeah, I understand. So you have multiple different passions, and it's hard for you to pick which baby you love the most, right? Like, which one do I love so much that I want to spend all my time there? So there's two options, maybe three, as I think through this. The first is you can go broad and just share who you are. And I think that is really, truly the end result of what you're looking for. So you're going to arrive at some point at being more than whatever niche you pick, right? Like, I'm not going to be, in fact, it's already happened. Like, originally I was Punta Cana guy, and then it became kind of, I have a funny story I'll tell you about my wife. Then it became more Dominican Republic guy. And then there's kind of an expat guy that I have going on, right? Like, it's expanding out, but there's also a few things my audience knows. They know I hate golf. They know I love a certain football team. You know what I mean? So they see these other passions. They know about my entrepreneurial endeavors. They know about my real estate investing, right? But so one option is you can go broad, and you can do that. Just understand it's going to take you a lot longer to scale, to grow your audience. The other option is you can go broad, and you can triple, quadruple, 5 times the content across these different niches, so that you're essentially, I think it's burning you out, but as you're essentially creating so much content in each of these niches, and you've defined what you're passionate about, or what you're against, who you're serving, all of this stuff, you've defined it across 5 different niches. Honestly, the answer is pick one for now, go with it, spend 6 months on it, maybe a year, your other things will come out, and then as you expand and grow, you'll become more generalized. The best example of this, does anybody know Gary Vaynerchuk?
Yeah.
Gary V? You guys know? What do you think of when you think of Gary V? Gary V. V-E-E. G-A-R-Y-V-E-E. So if you know him, what do you think about? Like, just what's a word or phrase if you think about his content?
I would say it's gonna more like straightforward, real.
Yeah.
Like that when you see content, you're essentially with him. Like,
Yeah.
If you meet him in person, it will be just like you see him.
Yeah.
Because he poses himself.
Yeah.
Like the way he actually is to the social media.
I love that. What does he talk about?
Marketing, creativity.
Yep. Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. What do you think of Gary Vee? What do you think of, he talks about what?
Brutal advice
Brutal advice on what?
on marketing and creativity.
Sure. Do you know what Gary Vee spent 7 years doing and becoming very famous doing? At the very beginning. Now, Gary Vee has tens of millions, maybe hundreds of millions of followers across platforms. He's one of the most famous entrepreneurs in the world, especially in the United States. He puts out so much, he has a team for every platform. He's got like 5, 6, 7 people for TikTok, for YouTube, for Instagram. Like, he is a machine of content. For 7 years, he sold wine. He had a show called Wine Library TV on YouTube when YouTube first launched, and that's what he was. He was the wine guy. So to your point, he was the wine guy who loves the New York Jets, who's big into marketing, entrepreneurship, personal development, passion, all those things. He's able to display his personality, but he started with wine. And when he got big with wine, he started to branch out and he started to share a little bit more about what he was doing. So I think that's the example. Like, he was really, really good at one niche and then he expanded it, as opposed to trying to do it all at the same time. But again, you can do it all at the same time, but if growth is your like leading metric, then that's usually going to take a lot longer. Okay? Sure, yeah.
Regarding Alison, I have a question. Is it possible two questions.
Yeah.
So the first one, what if she creates content about being a multi-passionate person? Because that's a niche to me. I'm a multi-passionate person who
Sure.
finds it hard to focus on one thing for a long time. And when I see people like me, I am prone to follow them, just even if I don't like the thing that they're into, just because I want to see people
Do stuff.
doing stuff, or living their life the same way I would love to live my life. And
Well, before you ask the second question, let me answer that real quick. The people that you follow, that you see, are they large influencers by the time you follow them?
me,
Okay.
that's me.
They've got some following though.
Yeah.
I'd be curious where they started, is the first thing. And then the second thing I would say on that, remember your second question, but the second thing I would say on being multifaceted, I go back to these questions. In being a multifaceted person, if growth is the goal, what do you stand for or against that creates emotion as a multifaceted person? What would you say?
Well, people pushing people to focus on one thing, for example.
You're against that.
Yeah, I get so annoyed by that.
Okay.
Well, not in the branding sense, because I understand as an advertiser myself, I understand that brands should need.
No, that's okay. That's good.
But when it comes to people, well, so yeah, I would. My against it would be like just focus on one thing.
That's good. Then honestly, there's something that, like, my mind goes to something fun with that, right? So if you hate niches drive you nuts. You could play with it. I mean, just being frank, like, what comes to mind? Like, are you the anti-niche bitch? You know, like something like that. Like, think about, like, everybody heard that and kind of laughed. That creates emotion, right? Like, that grabs somebody. A lot of people are going to be put off by that. They're going to be like, I don't want to follow somebody called the anti-niche bitch. That's just off-putting. Correct. So they're not your people. And we already know there are people that we have and people that we don't have, right? So yeah, if you can clearly define what you're against and you can create emotion around that, then there's something there. What's your unique advantage in it? We can work through, but yeah, that would be my answer to it. So what was your second question?
Oh, the second one was, what if a multifaceted person created, like, they focus on one thing, but still create some sort of, like, let's say, fill content, a filler content around the other things that probably.
One thing that actually helps people, like, to get followers on different stuff is, like, to create series. So imagine that your niche is, like, one main thing, and then you do, like, a series of something for your multifaceted side. Because I follow this girl, she's from England, and I actually do not know how she started on social media, but I started following her because she has this series of trying new hobbies. Because she's single and she's young and she has the time, and she has this series of, like, finding new hobbies, and this way she has traveled solo to another country, and she has tried tennis, and she has tried, like, some other stuff that she would not try before, but she knows that she have always wanted to do it. So that's, like, an idea.
It's an option. No matter what, when you go multifaceted, it's going to slow your growth. So just remember that, and that's okay. And there's something in this as well that, again, if you look at the social media landscape today, 5 years ago, what mattered was, or not even, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, what mattered was followers, number of followers that you had, and it sort of drove what people got to see on their feed, right? So if I'm following somebody, I would get their content. Today, TikTok has changed all of that. TikTok has gone into the creative is the creative, and everything's focused on the interest graph. So it's not a follower graph, it's an interest graph. And all the other platforms are going along with that. So for me, the risk in doing series in that regard, again, for big time growth, is if I find you on a reel, let's say, because it's about the creative, that is, I don't know, goes super viral on disco balls, right? Yeah, like something about disco balls or whatever it is. And then I go to your channel and I'm like, oh, I really like this chick's vibe. I like everything about her. And I go to your channel and it's like banana pudding, cars. I'm confused, right? So when you're not found, when nobody knows who you are yet, like when you have a lot of things happening and somebody finds you from the creative, just be prepared for your growth being stunted because while I found you, imagine, who's your favorite creator right now? Like, who's a creator you really love?
Right now? Oh, that's a hard one.
Or somebody throw out a creator they're following.
Danny's shoes.
Who is it?
Danny's shoes.
What is he? She. What does she do?
She's a digital
Brand strategist.
Fashion,
Okay.
marketing, branding.
So if all of a sudden you found her and you're like, oh, this is an interesting reel, you never heard of her on brand strategy. And you're like, let me go to her page and there's another tip on brand strategy and another tip on brand strategy. I'm going to follow her. And I'm really like, I know where to go for brand strategy. But if the second you went back to her page, there was cooking, skydiving, all of this, you might be like, really good brand strategy tip, but I don't know what I'm getting here, so pass. When you get big, that's why I asked about the size of the accounts, big or big in a niche, then you can diversify a little bit. That's just my take. Go for it.
I can relate a lot about what you just talked because there was a guy I followed, well, I started following on YouTube because I'm really into cooking and he suddenly shows up and he's just reviewing hot sauces.
Yeah.
And I really love spicy. So, and out of nowhere, he just stops posting that. He shows himself more like cooking, some stuff, and I unfollow him because
Right.
I just wanted to know about hot sauces.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got to be mindful of that. Doesn't mean he did anything wrong, but at the same time,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
just know that something can go viral. And when it does,
It's still good.
Yeah.
It just, I went there because there was something I really liked and he had a lot of content on.
yep.
The content is out. He's not doing that anymore. Well, I guess I'm also out here.
Right. Imagine if tomorrow I started sharing about life in Australia,
Yeah.
right?
I guess Australian. Wow.
Oh, like that's funny. You know what I mean? But that's kind of what that does. Like, hey, I want to pivot, and that's okay. If the creator wants to pivot, they can. But just know that your audience is there for a reason. And you can bring them through the journey, and good creators do. Like I went from wine guy to here to there or whatever. Good creators will do that. But to just scattershot right out of the gate, to me, there's a lot of risk in that. So, but again, you can do it, just expect slower scale. It took me 6 years of creating content to grow, if you want to go to Instagram, to 8,000 followers. It took me 1 year to go from 8 to 90,000. And that was because I finally got really focused in. I was sharing, hey, I quit my job and I bought real estate. I did all these things. If you go back in my feed, politics, like all over the place. So if you saw a video that you really liked of mine, I'm inspired by this video. And then the next thing is,
I quit my job.
yeah, or about creatine. I was all over the place, right? All of a sudden, when somebody saw my first viral Dominican video, and then they scrolled on the ones that had like 10 views, all of a sudden all of those have 10,000 and 20,000 views because this one went to 2 million and people were watching all the other ones. I want to follow this guy. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's building the brand. That's number one.
Yes.
All right, we're good on those 3 questions and some of the tactics you can work through. Localizing is a tactic. Number 2, I just got 3 there. Number 2, focus on the creative. We got into this a little bit, but I want to really zero in on this because I think there's a lot of noise around this, but I want to be really clear on this. When you're doing, when you're creating content, now that you know what you're for or against, your unique advantage, and who you serve, and you're creating that content comes down to and you all I think know this, a very specific structure that works, especially when you talk about short form video. Does anybody here do long form video, YouTube videos?
I do.
One person. I knew it. You started to?
I do.
Kind of.
This is where the Dominican Republic is 3 years behind and is about to catch up. Instagram is your platform in Dominican Republic. Business is done on Instagram. People don't even have websites, companies, right? Like WhatsApp me through Instagram, right? That's the order a pizza through Instagram. YouTube in this market is not valued, and it is a massive opportunity for brands you're working with and or for your own brand to get ahead of the curve before it just swallows you up. Because YouTube is coming here. It's coming fast. It's the trend around the world. YouTube is the platform. I'm getting ahead of myself on my number 3 thing, but the point is, if you're doing a YouTube video or you're doing a short form video, the creative is the same. So there's a couple of elements here. First, the simple ones. Got to have a hook, right? You got to have a hook, 2 to 3 seconds to drag people in, to grab people with something that you say, big, bold statement. You got to have like the story development after that, and then a payoff. So the ideal piece of content has a hook, develops a story a little bit, and then a payoff, okay? But more than that, and this is again where I think the Dominican Republic is from a creative standpoint and it needs to pivot. Dominican Republic content right now for a lot of businesses, a lot of brands, is all about selling or marketing or let me show you what I have, not storytelling.
Yeah.
Storytelling is going to, if you all start brands or work with brands and you focus them in on storytelling, you'll go to the moon. And I'll give you a quick example of this. Anybody know Colchones Naco, the mattress company locally? Yeah, there are 3-4 different stores in the country. They actually, the one sponsor I have right now. I don't like getting paid for my stuff, so they're my one sponsor because they're an amazing company. The reason I took them on as a sponsor is they knew of a charity that I support. It's called Second Mile Missions. It's in Friusa. And they offered to donate 4 mattresses to women who were sleeping on the ground in exchange for me to go do a reel. I jumped in the car and I did a reel as quickly as I possibly could, right, to get those women mattresses. So I'm like all in on the way they are. There's an alignment of values, right? They've had other creators go in and do content with them. Creators with big followings, a metric that, again, is the wrong metric to go with, but we'll get to that in a second. And when you see that content, the creator goes in, they wear big sunglasses, they dress up, and they're like, hey guys, I'm at the mattress store. These are so amazing. You gotta check them out. And for Colchones Naco, they're like, yay, we had a creator come in. They verified that we're so cool, but nobody came in. Nobody wants to see somebody go in. Like, I don't know about you, but if I had somebody come up and say, hey, check out these mattresses, I'm swiping, right? My role when I came in, and the manager there, I think, was a little bit, this is one of those battles you have. He's like, do you want me to show you this mattress? I'm like, no, I don't. Nobody cares about the mattresses. They don't care about your mattresses. So I went in there and I instead said, I want to tell you about a Dominican-owned, Dominican-manufactured company that just gave 4 mattresses to women who were not sleeping on one yesterday. That's a hook, right? And now I'm telling the story of this business, the story of what they are. And yeah, I'm in the store. You can see that they sell mattresses. And then I did a little funny thing at the end where I laid down and fell asleep, just to keep it light. But the point is, from that story, birthed a sponsorship. They had a whole bunch of people come in and buy mattresses. This week, they told me 5 people came in and bought mattresses here off of one post that I did at the Punta Cana store, let alone Santiago and Santo Domingo. When you tell the story, not sell the product, that's the creative. That's the creative to focus on with a hook, develop the story, and then a payoff. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. That's a big thing here. Like I saw this, there's a guy downstairs, a magazine, City Mag. Do you know Chris? City Mag DR? So he's developing a magazine. It's great. I sat down with him and we looked at some of the things he's doing. And he's partnering up with local businesses to show, like a magazine for, hey, this is all that's happening in Punta Cana. Great project. It's a great project. But in exchange for different businesses being featured in the magazine, he's creating content for them. He's filming videos for them. And one of them was Pandora, the jewelry store. And it was classic current Dominican marketing. It was high production value. That's what was valued. Make it look really good. Make it look as sexy as you can. And it was, hey, we're at Pandora. Look at this necklace. Look at this. Look at that. Well, you know what I would prefer? And not me, but maybe a woman who wears jewelry, which is their target audience. If instead Pandora came on and said, never wear pearls with pants. Let me show you. You want to wear these kind of earrings and diamonds, but hanging with pants. You don't want to wear pearls because right? That to me would be more like, oh, I never thought of that. This is a jewelry store. I'll probably go to them when I buy my next piece of jewelry. Does that make sense? So you tell the story, you add value to the audience. You don't just pitch them a product. That's a big thing now if you're building a brand, or especially if you're working with a brand. A lot of brands here feel as though good content is high production value and pitching. And the future is the exact opposite. It's storytelling. Getting to your point about which one do I do, if I'm going to lean into one or the other, I'm going to lean into who I am and the personal, not what I do. What I do comes later. Show me, like you were saying, show me how you do what you do. Show me the ins and outs of what you do. Show me the good days of being an artist. Is that? Yeah. The bad days, the challenges, the celebrations, the wins. Show me those things so I can get a sense behind the scenes of you, who you are, and I'm likely to buy your art or participate in whatever it is that you do. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So tell the story. Focus on the creative, not the branding, not the marketing, not the buy my crap, buy my crap, buy my crap. Nobody wants that. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want that. When I look through my feed and it's just people pitching me, like I'm just like, I don't want to see this. I want to hear stories. I want to be entertained. I want to be inspired. I want to be informed. I want to be educated, not told what to buy. Cool. In the interest of time, I'll keep on moving here. The third priority is using the right metrics and the right platforms. So I've kind of alluded to this already. Instagram's the core platform here, and it's great. I love Instagram. It's a great community type platform. The right platform for the future is YouTube. It just is. Easiest monetization, best search engine, long plus short form content. They pay the creators most on that platform. So if you're looking to be a paid creator, you're gonna make the most money on YouTube by far, directly. And YouTube, because of long form, allows you to build a much deeper relationship with your audience, and therefore your audience is more likely to buy from you, more likely to patronize your products, your services, your offerings, and so on. So YouTube, if you're not there, start your YouTube channel. I would just start it, do an unedited raw video and just get used to making 5 to 10 minute videos on YouTube. It is the best brand building tool that you're gonna have in a year, 2, 3 years. And it's coming fast to the Dominican Republic. Make sense? Mm-hmm. As far as metrics, stick with Instagram for a second. Most brands here love follows. Oh, they got 200,000 followers. They got 100,000 followers. They got 89,000 followers, right? That's like the lead metric. And trust me, it feels nice to say like, yeah, we're pushing 100,000 followers. It sounds great. But the reality is the best metric, if you're looking at Instagram, is gonna be Reels interactions. And that's a combination of likes, comments, saves, and the most important one is shares. Shares is if you want to make content to target any of them to get the most comments or get the most likes or get the most shares or get the most saves, target shares. Make shareable content that people are going to want to share with other people. Comedy is great. News is great. Showing something that people don't know about is great. I just did one on the VIP airport thing. I don't know if you guys walk into Terminal B, and on the right there's this VIP. You can. There you go. I'm that guy. There you go.
I was looking in my head. I mean, I've seen this guy before, but I really don't know. Since you started.
The airport.
Yeah, the airport guy. Then you said for $20 you can get this. Oh my God.
Correct. So there you go. They made an impression, right? But that's been shared over 50,000 times. That's been viewed over 2.4 million times at this point. You shared it, right? It was something that was interesting. And I'll tell you what, a week after I put that out, I walked into that same VIP airport thing to fly somewhere else. And the lady at the front desk said, "You're that guy. We've had so many damn people coming in here." And the lady next to me goes, "Yeah, me included. I didn't know about this until I saw your reel." So the lady next to me, right? So, but I'm sorry, you were saying something?
I sent it to my father because he was gonna fly soon, and I told him, "You're gonna get here. Try this one. I saw this guy, and I didn't know this."
How many bald, white Punta Cana guys do you know?
I watch a lot of stuff.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Phone, so.
But there you go.
Like Santiago, she would have been like, he is the guy.
You're right. If it was Santiago, I know, right? If I was from there, if I was like, Santiago is king, and check out this VIP thing at the airport. That would have done it, right? You would have known me then. But that video was shareable, right? It was something very interesting for people. I didn't expect it to go that viral. I didn't expect it to get over 2 million views and all of that stuff. But I expected it to do well. I thought 50, 60, 70,000 views, probably get shared 1,000, 2,000 times. It's good info, but it was apparently very good info and people really enjoyed it. So shareable content, when people are gonna like, wow, I have to send this to somebody else, that's the metric. So if you're working with a brand or you are a brand and you're trying to figure out, like they're saying, yeah, hey, we've got this many followers, or hey, let's work with that influencer who has all these followers, go look at the influencer and start looking at how many shares they have. That would be my first thing. How much engagement are they truly getting on their feed? And there's a great website called Social Blade, socialblade.com if you've used it, where you can go to the Instagram one, put in the handle, and it'll tell you what's called an engagement rate. So when you see like my engagement rate's around 4%. When you look at brands similar size to me that, oh wow, big following, but they don't have, you can see they don't have the same amount of views on their stuff, their engagement's under 0.2%. It's like 0.11%, very low. So that's a great site to go to. And when you're looking at brands to work with, if you're working with a brand that wants to bring in an influencer, look at shares. Shares are the metric on Instagram. On YouTube, there's really 2 to 3 metrics you want to look at. The first one is called click-through rate, CTR. Click-through rate is essentially I saw the video on my feed, on my laptop or on my phone. That's an impression. If I tap it and look at it, I clicked through. So you want about, if you can get it within the first 2 days, about a 10% click-through rate. It'll go down over time, but if you can get 1 out of 10 people, when they see your video on YouTube, tap on it or click on it, that's a really good click-through rate, especially out of the gate, the first couple of days of the video's out. That's just saying that your thumbnail is resonating. People are like, oh, that's interesting. Or the title is, or both. And they're actually clicking on it. And it's gonna tell YouTube like, wow, let's send this to an even bigger audience because people are looking at it. So that's the first one. The second metric is average view duration, AVD, average view duration. And the key with average view duration is it's more important to have longer duration than it is a larger percentage of the video watched. In other words, if you've got a 10-minute video that gets 5 minutes watch time, that's half the video, 50%, is pretty good. If you've got a 40-minute video with 10 minutes of watch time, which is only a quarter of the video, YouTube likes that better. So the longer the average watch time, the better. So it's better to put longer content on YouTube. YouTube wants you to stay on the platform. They want to see that you're creating content that makes people spend more minutes on there. They care less, they do track it, but they care less about if it's 20, 30, 40, 50, 60% of the video. Does that make sense? Okay. The third one, if you wanted to look at it, is called the retention graph. And what you want to aim for, and it's really hard to do, is 70% of the viewers are still watching at the 1 minute mark. If you can keep 70% of people that tapped on the video to stay there at a minute, that's a really good video, long form video. All right, so those are some key metrics as you're developing YouTube that'll help you get there. Let me pause for a second before I get into the business side of it, and I have a few different tactics for that. But are there any questions on any of this stuff so far? Anything you need to know? What's that?
I think it's clear for now.
Okay, all right, cool. So the business, right? So what I wrote down was, here's what I would say you're going to do in terms of making money on your social accounts and your personal brand. The first thing is add value for free without worrying about what you're going to get from it. So add value for free without worrying about what you're going to get from it. That means, if you're going to go to a pizza place, if that's something that you do, or you're going to go to an art gallery or whatever it is, right? Like if somebody else benefits from your content, don't feel the need to be paid for it. Not for a while. I call it the value snowball. So not that we have snow here, but if you think about it in terms of this. So you're building your brand and you've got an audience that really likes what you do, and you're giving them content, you're showing them things, and maybe other businesses or other brands are benefiting by you being out there and showing things. If you needed to monetize and sell them something in 6 months, you'd make some money. But if you waited to a year, you'd make more money. If you waited 5 years, you'd make even more money. In other words, if you're delivering value and delivering value and delivering value, the longer you go without asking for anything in return, the moment that you do ask, it's going to be the most you're going to get. So the longer you put that off, if you can, if you need to make money, you need to make money. If you need to do it in 3 months, 6 months, that's fine. Just know that you'll make less than if you're just continuing to build that value snowball and make it bigger. Like a snowball, when it rolls downhill, it gets bigger, right? So over time, the bigger and more value you've provided, and then you make the ask, you'll make a lot more money. So that's one. The other thing is, don't sell something to anybody unless they're begging you for it. Don't create something like a book or a course unless they're begging you for it. Does that make sense? They don't have to exactly say, I want a course from you or I want a book from you. But when you're getting like a set of questions over and over and over again, that's them begging you for a course or a book. In my example, what was starting to happen when I was creating content here was, hey, Jamie, love what you're doing. I know that you're looking at real estate there. Do you have an agent that you can refer to me? And I was like, no, go find an agent, right? Like, I don't know anybody. Sorry, that's not my thing. Jamie, do you have an agent you can refer? Jamie, do you have an agent you can refer? And it was a key for me. It's like, oh, okay. They're starting to beg me for that. They want a referral. And what am I providing? I'm providing trust. I've given them a sense that they can trust me, which I hope they can. So I went out and found a friend of mine that's an agent. I found him, and I went to him and I said, if I refer people to you, and you sell a property, will you pay me quarter of your commission? He said, yeah. So now I have 6 people that do that. I've referred in the last 3 months about 700 leads to these 6 people around the country who will then sell real estate to them. It's starting to get momentum. We had one guy buy a $1.1 million property in Punta Cana. I got a quarter of the commission. They were begging me for that trusted realtor. More recently, they were begging me for an attorney. So, okay, I've got an attorney I work with, so I'll make a referral and I get paid for that. Does that make sense? Now keep in mind, I haven't monetized my audience truly yet. My audience isn't paying me anything. All they're doing is paying for services they would have anyway, or buying a product they would have anyway, and on the backside, I make something for making that connection. Does that make sense? I'm getting a commission on the back end. That's how I'm monetizing for now, because I am waiting as long as I possibly can, and I might do it soon with some merchandise to sell them anything. People are asking for t-shirts. People are asking for certain things. I might do it in this Christmas season. It might be the right time to do it. But man, the longer you go, the more that demand builds, the more trust you offer, the more authentic you are to your audience, the more money you'll make. So the business of it is really like, don't, and we all do this. I've done it. I remember saying this to a coach that I have. Like, I think I should write a book. He's like, who's asking you for a book? I said, nobody, but I think it'll be a good book. He's like, nobody wants your book. Nobody cares. I know you have an audience that loves you. Nobody's asking you for a book, so don't write a book.
What if you are an artist which their goal is to write a book? Like,
Sure.
you want to share your book. Would you wait for the audience to ask, maybe as you said, like include, stay focused if you're starting, stay focused on one thing, and then kind of like give them a little bit?
So tell me about your goal is to write the book, because that's that. If the objective is to write a book, I go back to the first 3 questions. So what is the brand? What are you putting out there? What is your message to the world?
It's inside the books.
What is it about?
It's about what it is to be human.
What it is to be human?
It is anything and everything at the same time.
Okay, so it's kind of what she was saying.
Like, yeah.
Multifaceted. If you have a book you want to write a book. I mean, nobody can stop you. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be this massive bestseller or anything like that. So to answer the question, like, some people just want to write a book. I know plenty of people that just, hey, my kids will read this book one day. That's all I care about. My grandkids will have a memory of me. If that's what you want to do it for the heart, do it for the heart. If you're talking about monetizing it though, or using the book as the way to make money, what comes to my mind is, what I would do then is I would, again, identify what you're for or against in this multifaceted kind of world that you're looking at. But I would hone in on the behind the scenes of the book. Because like, it would be really interesting if you find an audience that you're able to talk to and maybe share on a daily basis, go live once a week, twice a week, or whatever it is, and share with them the process, the frustration, something you learned today, like the whole behind the scenes of the book. Like, if I get really roped into that, I don't even care what your book is about or if I'm even interested in it. I'm going to buy it. I might not even read it.
So
But I'm,
people fall in love with the story before even
Correct.
reading the story.
Yep, exactly. Imagine watching a filmmaker or an actor showing you all the things he's doing on this movie. And like, and he does it in such a way that you know clearly what he stands for or against, what his unique advantages, and who he's serving, right? So he's serving, I don't know, aspiring actors or people who love movies, like, what do they call, like movie files or whatever they call people that are like really all about it. So imagine you're watching that person as they day by day show you little drips of like, hey, let me show you the bathroom in the set. This is the craziest bathroom on set I've ever been in, right? And this, that, and the other. Like, I got to see this damn movie when it comes out, right? Like, I keep seeing every day. I'm following this guy. I'm watching him do this thing, but it's like from back here, like, show me the product. Take the blanket off of it, right? So in my mind, once you kind of define this, if the book is like what is really in you, you can write the book. But if you're sharing that process, that to me is valuable, right? And it would be something that would build intrigue with your audience, that they would be interested in maybe buying it. That's just my thought.
Thank you.
And you don't have to be the anti-niche bitch either. So, you had a question?
Well, another question is, it's funny to me that you mentioned, like, instead of just focusing on, like, throwing up a product, like showing off the process of you coming up with it. There's this guy that is coming up to me on YouTube that what I only know that he needs $60,000 for something. I believe it's something like buying some sort of camera for a project for himself, and he doesn't have the resources, so he has to do Uber and DoorDash.
Yeah.
So the content is just him every day showing off what he does and how much he has saved up to the point where he can finally
Fascinating. You got a little tally every video?
Yeah, he keeps the tally like today I made $500. It was a slow day. I just did 3 deliveries, something like that. He sleeps in the car. He shows up like he's set up for sleeping in the car, and it's just that. And I saw it one first time, and I think I hit like, but then it shows up again. And just because I know what the story is, I just stop there and watch.
Yeah.
I know what it is. Conceptually, it's the same thing all over again, but it's something different.
Yeah. So he's built an audience that's watching him go through the process, not market the thing, right? Like that's the other part of it. Like a lot of people say, should I focus on a business brand or personal brand? It's like personal brand. Your business, if you are like realtors, realtors drive me absolutely bananas. All the realtors do the same thing. Anybody a realtor here? Or married to a realtor? Okay. Okay, good. Realtors all do the same thing. Hey everybody, in Vista Cana, we got this house, $260,000. All you need to do. What's that?
No, real estate. I was looking at
Oh, sorry, real estate agents. Real estate agents, yeah. So agents all do the same content. Agents should be doing what I'm doing. Let me show you the new restaurant in Punta Cana. Let me show you the coolest part about downtown. Why do you think agents are coming to me for me to refer them business? Because they suck at marketing. So they're really good. They're really good at selling properties, the ones that I work with, selling properties and taking somebody from, I don't know how to buy down there in the Dominican Republic, all the way through you closed and you've got all your funding, and they're good at that. And then they take the time to market by telling people about a product, not telling them about the area. Don't tell them this because then I'm out of business, right? No, I'm just kidding. But the point is like they come to me because I'm doing the thing they should be doing. If a real estate agent, instead of saying, I got a house for sale, I got a house for sale, I got a house for sale, were to say, let me tell you the top 5 schools for your kids here in Punta Cana in 2025. Let me tell you about the 3 best restaurants. There's a place across the street called Talentum. I didn't know about this place. It excited the hell out of me because everyone kept asking me, is there a special needs school in Punta Cana? And I was like, no, there's not. And then a friend of mine whose son or daughter goes to that school was like, yeah, it's Talentum, it's right across the street. And that poor lady, I ran over there and she's like, what do you want? I'm like, I just want to show people this. She's thinking I wanted to be paid or something. But I went in, I showed her school, I put it out on my platform, right? Like realtors, real estate agents should be doing that. Show me the life, show me what it is. And then what are people asking me? I don't talk about selling real estate. What are they asking me for? To sell them real estate, right? So think about that. If a realtor stops selling their thing and instead were to say, let me show you what life is here, what I'm for or against. My unique advantage is I sell property here. And who I serve is Dominican Americans who want to buy here. And I'm going to show you all the ins and outs of this area. My God, that realtor could take off. Yeah.
Okay. I work as a content creator for an agency, and I got some clients there, some hotels in Monte Cristi.
Yep.
And I told my boss that has to be a strategy. Don't show me the hotel.
Yes.
Show me the place. Show me what I can do in Monte Cristi. Show me that I can go to this place and do this, what I do after that. And then you can tell and go to sleep to this place because there's no other place.
That's it.
Because there's no other place. It's in the middle of nowhere.
Is the brand the hotel or is there a face?
No, the hotel.
It's the hotel.
Uh-huh.
So the other thing I would say is, are you bringing in influencers, or is there a influencer or an owner of the hotel who's willing to be a face of that brand?
Influencers.
Okay, different influencers.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's
They
good.
show what they do in Monte Cristi,
Yeah,
but in the account of the hotel.
sure. That's the way to do it. There's an old adage on this. It's like, don't show me the process, show me the result. In terms of that, right? Like if I'm going to market my hotel, show me what I get. What do I get? I get to be in Monte Cristi and all the things that are here, and to some extent. So I agree with you. They shouldn't be showing like, hey, look at this beautiful hotel. I mean, it's good. It looks nice. It's high production.
Some posts we do it like
Yep.
that.
Yep.
But the main focus is to show what to do in Monte Cristi.
Yep.
And it's a big
Yeah, the proportion of how you should post content on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube is 70% of your content should be for reach, to like reach a bigger audience. 25% of the content should be for nurturing your current audience, like people that come back to you. 5% should be sales. So to your point, you can sell, they can show the hotel and how beautiful it is, but out of 100 posts, 5 of them. Does that make sense? 70% of content should be for reach. And this could be a little flexible, but you get the point. 70% is for reach, to reach more people, content that reaches a new audience. 25% is for nurture, so nurturing or serving your existing audience. And then 5% is sales. Make sense? Yeah.
I think that a very important thing that some creators may forget is the content pillars. I mean, you just mentioned it, but I think that some people don't take it seriously because they just want to do one thing.
Yeah.
But they forget that the audience is usually people that want to consume different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And of course you want to attract more audience, but you need to remember about the people that are there.
Well, it's actually not even remember. That's all it should be about. To your point, most creators, a lot of creators, especially business creators here, are like the real estate agent who says, look at this house. All that they think they're serving the audience. They're serving themselves, right? Like, buy this house from me because I make money, right? Serving the audience means they would think about, like, if I were on the other side, what would I want as the audience member, right? So to your point, yeah, the content should be all about whoever's watching, not about what you get, you know? So I completely agree with you. Value for the audience, not for yourself.
Well, I get to give some advice to a friend that is building her brand of, she's a esthetician.
She's a what, I'm sorry?
Esthetician.
Esthetician, yeah.
Yes, and she is just starting, and she told me a term, and I was like, you said it wrong. It's supposed to be this. And she said, no, this is the thing, and I was like, this is the kind of content that you should be posting, because why are you only showing that you are doing these services when you don't even tell people that what it is about and what's the real name of it?
Yeah, sure,
So,
sure. Or even better, tell her story of being one, being an esthetician.
Yeah.
Like, that would be more, like, most people would be more interested in the story of the individual, and they would book them for whatever estheticians do. I think that's mostly women use that, right? What's an esthetician? Yeah.
Cosmetology.
My wife would know this. I don't know. But yeah, like, I'm again, it's not that you shouldn't put out, like, here's what I do, and this is like, look, you know, you can make beautiful videos, but if you're going to do one or the other for her, like, more people are going to get to know her entrepreneur journey as an esthetician and really resonate with that and want to book her, than I'm an esthetician, this is what it looks like, this is what it looks like, here's another client, another client, another client.
The thing is, I believe that most people only see forms of content on Instagram, for example, but they never think about the story
Correct.
Behind it.
Yeah.
Or your personal story as the esthetician, or the story of your business, let's say. So that's the thing. It's easier to just record when you are doing the eyebrows or putting on the eyelashes than to actually sit down and say something about it.
Now, there is one strategy in that can work. Have you ever heard of ASMR?
Yes.
So if you can take what she does and create ASMR content out of it, that would be interesting. Like, the sounds, the noises, like, very sensory, like, you know, very quick movement of whatever, like, you know, like, if she did that, like, if she didn't want to be her own story.
It's really engaging.
But again, that serves the audience. The audience wants that, right? That's not about you. About you is like, look at how beautifully I do nails or eyebrows or eyelashes or whatever. But if you're doing ASMR content for an audience, that's, again, serving the audience. So there's ways to do it without showing your whole life on social media if you don't want to. But it's always thinking, like, if I'm on the other side, why would I care about this content? Why would I care to see eyelashes, you know, or eyebrows? Like, there's so many of those, you know? So standing out, there's different ways to do it. What's that?
This is so useful because yesterday I had a reunion with a friend that he's starting business in agency, and he asked me for advice. And the client wanted to create, she prepared para fiesta de cumpleaños,
Prepare like birthday parties.
Birthday parties, yeah.
birthday parties, and the boxes. And she's a creative architect for parties and all that stuff. And this kind of content that tell me the story of how you do your job. Don't show me the things. Don't show me the results. Show me what
One of my favorite channels my kids watch is called The Icing Artist. This lady makes crazy cakes. She's become more vlog in the last year or so, but so she does different like games, like I ordered a cake from 3 different bakeries, let's see how they did kind of thing. But the core of her content was you're watching her make the cake. You know what I mean? So she's not selling me the cake. She's not even selling cakes, but I'm going to make a SpongeBob cake today. And you're like, how's she going to make a SpongeBob cake? Oh, look at that. Take this fondant or whatever and roll it out. You know what I mean? So to your point, it's very interesting to watch the creative work as opposed to just seeing their creation at the end of it. But too many people are like, look at my jewelry. Look at the house I'm selling. Look at the computers. Look at these mattresses. Like, nobody cares.
Cake Boss is the original.
Cake Boss. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it really does boil down to, are you serving the audience? Are you serving, people on the other side of it? One other small thing I'll throw in there that really changed things for me is getting away from content. If you're speaking, if you're doing like talking head type videos where people hear you talking, a lot of people do you should. I used to do this. I still do sometimes. It's hard not to. You should. If you want to create this, you need to do that. If you want to quit your job, you got to do that. If you want to move to the Dominican Republic, here's the 3 things you need to do. Nobody wants to be told what to do. So flipping that from you should to here's how I moved to the Dominican Republic. Here's how I quit my job. Here's the ways that I was able to, buy a house here. Not if you want to buy a house, here's the steps you need to take. You can switch to that. You can do you should once you're in a position of authority, but when you're not known, it's how I. And it's great because nobody can challenge you. Like, I didn't tell you to do anything. It's just what I did, right? And it's much more endearing. I mean, think about it. If you and I were talking, right, and you were like, I want to build social media. All right, you should do this. Get on this platform, right? It's like easy, buddy. Back up, right? But it's like, you know what I did? I did this. You're like, oh, okay, that's interesting. I can take that and do what I want with it. You know what I mean? There's an energy on social media, and content creation now, really, you should think about it in terms of community building. That's another macro trend I see. United States has gotten very far away from community. So now social media and influencers, where they're making a lot of money is by building community. That's my core business in the United States. People pay $5,000 a year to be in a community of mine to get accountability toward their goals to become financially free. Because we don't have community in the United States. Amazon delivery, Uber Eats, and DoorDash with, not DoorDash, but Instacart with grocery delivery. Nobody leaves their house. We were in the United States for a month in August. We didn't see any neighbors. All the kids are inside on iPads. People don't talk. That's why they're shooting each other in schools. They've depersonalized from one another, right? It's true. Here, there's a trend toward that. Amazon does come here. You got to go pick it up at BM Cargo, but it's only a matter of time. So if you think about the macro trend, if you look at the United States and other countries where people don't see each other as much anymore, one of the things I love about this culture, the reason and I hope it always stays this way, is how connected people are. Like a Friday night at 7 o'clock, this is on Zoom in the United States. No bullshit. This is a Zoom call. This is not a live thing. That's a beauty of this culture, but it will, as it develops, go more toward, oh, Amazon comes to my house and Instacart brings my groceries or whatever version of it, Pedidos Ya expands out into that, right? So because of that, people are going to be seeking community, and they already are. So when you're building content, you're building a community around it. Does that make sense? So if you're an artist, you're building an artist community. This is why I like local to start, because you can make a lot of money between 6 blocks of Santo Domingo as an artist if you're attracting the right people and you're able to have dinners where they pay a lot of money to come hang out with you, or sell art within certain neighborhoods in that specific area. People love community, and they're willing to pay for it when they don't have it generally. And that's the trend in the United States, and I see that being the trend here over time. Hopefully not for a long time, but you can get ahead of that trend if you think about community building with your content or your brand's content that you're working with. Make sense? All right. I think I've went way past the hour. Yeah. Any last questions, and then I'll shut up. Helpful? Good? All right, here's what I want to hear. If I could, 5, 6 of you, just shout it out. A key takeaway from today. So I know, like, as you're just thinking about it, like, man, if I got nothing else from today, what's one thing you got from today?
Shares.
I'm sorry?
Shares.
Shares. Everything is about shares. Go for it.
The percentages of like what content.
70, 25, 5.
And I didn't know the YouTube, like if you post a longer video and then people watch
Watch
for 10
time.
minutes, you get way more, I don't know,
Engagement.
money or
Average view engagement money. Sure, all of it. Yeah, average view duration is huge. Huge. Yeah, absolutely. What else?
Focus.
I'm sorry?
Focus.
Focus. For the multifaceted crowd. Focus. For growth.
Yeah.
For growth. Like if you want to have that, what they call a hockey stick, you know, phew, the best way to do it is specific niche, go down, localize it, know what you're passionate about, really build emotion, your own authentic emotion, and get that from people, and you'll see your brand take off. Not instantly, but in a much shorter time frame than if you're, hey, I'm all these things.
Ask a question. How tags? The more hashtags, the more the better, or the less the better?
Hashtags, hashtags are, it's good to have first off, I would get them down further in the caption or in the where you put the text. Like, don't jam them in there. TikTok kind of forces you to, but Instagram you can kind of like space down a few and put it toward the bottom. If there are 4 or 5 core hashtags, it's good because you're telling Instagram what you're doing, and that's helpful. Do you search hashtags on Instagram? Does anybody here search hashtags on Instagram?
A few.
Couple? Okay. I'm sorry?
Is that Tumblr is kind of different?
Tumblr, I'm not on. I don't know the platform as well. But hashtags are good for like, I still I have a core set of hashtags. Takes me 2 seconds. Ding, 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 because they're all right there. I use the same ones over and over again. And so it helps, but it's more like feeding Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. Like, this is what it's about, than it is like going to get you more reach. Right. Yeah. Go ahead.
I would like to add to that.
Yeah.
The thing is, there is, and I've noticed also in my content creation experience, that hashtags have a huge decline. The thing is, you could see like the reach you had through hashtags.
Mhm.
And the thing is, at least in Instagram, yes, you could follow hashtags.
Sure.
The thing is, the more conceptually broad they are, those are the ones that get the following. Like if I just start following the content creation hashtag, yes, there will be a lot of people. The thing is, there will be a lot of people. So sometimes when you post and you use a hashtag, you will sometimes see that there's over 1 million posts with that specific hashtag.
Right. Yeah.
And you could use it, yeah. People that are looking to your content, if you use that
Sure,
hashtag,
sure.
will find you. The thing is, you will be lost
Yeah.
there because there is so much content.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you use lesser search,
Yeah.
there are fewer posts. You will be noticeable. The thing is a minority. You will not a lot of people will be actually typing. It was a thing that George told that like no one in their life will see the hashtag of the name of the bank, like Banco Popular, you will actually never go in that hashtag.
Right. Yeah.
And I can assure you, only the Banco Popular will have posts with that hashtag. Of course, you can guarantee that, but you will actually go there.
And you know what's scary? The marketing department at Banco Popular right now is saying, make sure you put a hashtag Banco Popular in there.
I understand what he's saying, because like if you say hashtag food,
Yeah.
hashtag travel, hashtag fun,
You're throwing a rock in the ocean.
It's the biggest
hashtag
Yeah.
I live where you vacation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're throwing a rock in the ocean. 100%. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What do you think it's better, and how do you think I can convince my client to let me do the job? Because I know the hashtag doesn't work in the way we want to, because it gets me to a niche. It's big or really small, but how do I get them to understand that it doesn't work for the brand? Nobody's going to look for Banco Popular 25 aniversario.
Right.
No,
How successful are they as a brand? Like follower count, views, all of that. What do they? What does it look like?
they're like 10,000.
Okay.
They're good, but I don't think anybody's looking.
But what do they
for-
watch? If 10,000, that's not. What do they? How many people watch a video of theirs?
They're low.
I would think.
They're low.
If it's a business brand, I would think it's
Because
very
they
low.
Post a lot of
Corporate.
exactly.
Yeah.
They sell a lot.
Yeah. So I would ask them why they think it's working. I mean, that's my first thing. Like, why do you think this is working? Like, what do you know of business generated from their Instagram? You do?
¿Cómo?
Do you know that they've gotten business from their Instagram?
I don't think so. Because
I doubt it.
they're trying something new.
Right. Right.
They're looking for something new.
So maybe find examples of business. I'm trying to think of one or two because it's hard for me because everything I look at is in English, and I'm assuming this is a Spanish-based company, so I don't know the Spanish influencer class. But if it were me, I would start showing them examples of businesses that are doing it right. So it could be a business brand, but their content is ASMR, or their content is very engaging. You know what a great example actually is? You guys know Red Bull?
Yeah.
Okay. If you go look at a Red Bull reel, do we have a second or no? Okay. If we look at a Red Bull reel, let me pull up Instagram. Is it off?
Yeah, because the television.
I hope I'm not proven wrong here, but let's see what happens. Is it on?
Talking about Red Bull.
I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you something real quick.
It's the first things on my laptop.
Red Bull system preferences display. Okay. I can see this.
I forgot that Red Bull is drinking.
Let me get rid of that. All right.
Okay, guys.
Zoom this in a little bit. All right, so this is Red Bull. Red Bull has 25 million followers. If you look at their content, millions of views every time. 7 million, this, that, and the other. When you go through, like you'll see every so often, but like first four, I don't see a can of Red Bull. Do you? I don't there either. I think you're going to see one here in a second. First 12 reels, not one can of Red Bull. There's one. There's one. We talk about 95.5 or I'm sorry, 5% sales. Let's just see what this is real quick.
That's their cane call out.
Oh, some sort of new can or whatever. Is that? Yeah.
It's a Netflix series.
There you go. So they have a specific reason for marketing. But look, there's boats, it's concerts, it's skating on things, right? It's all of this. So what Red Bull has done, look at this. Watch the world of Red Bull. What's your client's name? Let's take a look.
Cash and carry.
Oh, Cash and Carry. I follow them.
Hey.
No, o sea, ese es uno.
This one, right?
Ah, I hate that. The Santa Claus. Don't do that.
It's funny. I see people and they have more views when there's people.
No.
But they have a bunch of products. So they're getting like 1,000 views, 700 views. I mean, it's okay.
But look at the content.
I mean, they have
Look at one.
11 followers, 11,000.
Yep.
They sell and sell and sell. And they have a lot of stuff, but they're not.
Like I wouldn't consume that. It doesn't.
Appeal.
You got stuff. Cool. That's amazing.
On there,
Yeah.
it's really good.
No, Cash Carry is great. And they should market that. Like, so the point is that they're saying Green Village Plaza, Punta Cana delivery. So they're just marketing. Red Bull is essentially saying, we sell something. There, you just said it. But this is a lifestyle. So when Red Bull gives you wings, right? Red Bull is this energy. It's this. What do they say? Welcome to the world of Red Bull, right? That to me would be the example. Like, hey, look at what they're doing. Real quick, I'm just gonna go back and look at Red Bull again. Red Bull, and we're gonna look at one of their reels. I don't know, like this one. I mean, I'm like, oh goddamn, watching this, like that's scaring me. He's above the ground. It's way more interesting to look at. He's gonna walk all the way there. Holy crap!
1 kilometer? No.
Look at this room. Fixated on. Wait a minute, he's going 3 kilometers, on a tightrope. And there he drinks a can of Red Bull at the end, right?
Yeah.
I get what Red Bull is. I know it's a can of soda. I know it's an energy drink, right? Like cash and carry.
Forgot about it, but
I get right. I get that you sell baked goods or whatever, but I do something more creative and interesting for your audience. Give them value, not show them what you sell. And you can use your Instagram as like, I'm going to cash and carry. Like I'll be honest with you. I just filmed 2 days ago grocery stores in Punta Cana. I went to 5 of them. You know which one I didn't think of? Yeah, because they're a little boutique grocer in Bávaro, essentially, right? In I know Green Village. They're a little boutique grocer. They're not Jumbo. They're not Nacional. They're not these giant brands on main roads. They're like tucked behind. Nobody knows where they are. So I don't drive by them every day. They don't have that brand awareness. So in order to stand out, they've got to be more like Red Bull. What is the culture of cash and carry? What is the value of cash and carry? What is it that they offer to the public?
the price, premium meat and
Wine.
cortes.
Yeah, cup.
And their lunches, right?
Yeah.
So things like that, like if they were to, what I would tell them to do is like, what is the essence or the core of what you're about instead of what you're about? Does anybody know what Chick-fil-A is?
Yeah.
Okay. You don't like Chick-fil-A?
I don't.
So do I, and I do too. Oh, you're out of your mind. Chick-fil-A. All right, somebody tell me the mission statement. What do you think, like give me some words in the mission statement of Chick-fil-A. What are some words? What do you think?
Chicken.
Flavor, chicken, what else?
What is that? The cow.
Yeah, eat more chicken.
Eat more chicken
Yeah.
and it's like a cow.
Okay, what else? Mission statement of Chick-fil-A. What other words might be in there?
Catholic.
Okay. Chick-fil-A's mission statement. Chick-fil-A's corporate purpose is to glorify God by being a faithful steward of all that is entrusted to us to have a positive influence on all who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. What does that have to do with chicken? Not a thing. The product is chicken. What they give the world is chicken. Cash and carry. What they give the world are those amazing looking treats or great lunches or premium products and all of that. But what we know about Chick-fil-A, you said Catholic? Somebody said Catholic, right? Their core, their values are in service and they're closed Sundays, Christianity, right? They have values as a business that they display. And then, yeah, you like their chicken. Red Bull has values around adventure, and then what they are is an energy drink. Cash and carry, what I would ask them is that, like, what are the values of cash and carry? Is it the best products for the least amount of money? Like, I don't know. That's even maybe not. You probably have to go a layer deeper than that. Like, what's the core value of the owners of cash and carry, and let that be displayed? Are they? We love community. We love locals getting the best deal. Like, God, that means everything to us. Then creating content like that, like a local coming in and them like hiding something in the store for the local to go find, that would be like a really, our customer who's come here 25 times, it's their 25th time this month, I hid something for them, let's see if they can find it. Like, I want to watch that piece of content, right?
Say that again and
You get my point though? Like if local, yeah, of course, take it, honestly. But if local is their value, if they're like, we just love serving the local community, well then show me content of you serving the local community, not of your baked goods, not of your best jelly, not of the Reuben sandwich you serve me. Show me the values that you represent. That's what's interesting content, and will draw people in. You know? Wow. Make sense? Yeah.
I would also like to add that they have a product that not many people know how to cook. You know, I love to eat the meat, but I don't know how to.
Get her on the cash and carry page. Look, she loves it. She's a huge.
So you can value, an added value would be, content of them explaining how can I take more advantage of their products.
That's great. Hey, right. I'm going to show you how to make lobster bisque with our whatever butter.
To burn a
Yeah.
tomahawk.
That's a great point. Exactly.
How not to eat
That's an expensive
hard
mistake.
meat.
But no, that's a great point. Like, let me show you. We have this new product in the store. Great. but I'm going to show you how to make the best, whatever that product is. Like you got a new jelly, a jam. I don't know why I'm fixated. Maybe I'm hungry on jam right now, right? But they got some apple jam or something like locally made. And it's like, we're going to show you the 5 best things you can make with this apple jam, right? And it's like this fritter, this croissant, this thing stuffed with apple jam, a donut. You can do it so easily. Take a piping bag. Like that would be interesting, fun content. And now I want to go to Cash and Carry to get that damn jam so I can make a donut, right?
And you know what? I might even just go for them to cook it for me. Maybe I just watch the content and I don't want to do it anyway. Pero it would go.
Yeah.
And they're the ultimate in local. So I talk about localizing. Now imagine if they hosted on a night. What time do they close? What time do they close at 7? Imagine if one night a week at 9 o'clock they invited in 20 people or 10 people for like a sit-down dinner that they prepare in their kitchen or something like that. Business owners, real estate agents, whatever. Once a week, every Thursday, and they brought them in and just share. I mean, now that's the physical. It's like this. It's like, how many people know about you? That's followers. Oh, everybody knows about us. Cool. How many people are like out there telling people like you have to go to Cash and Carry? That's shares. So if you have influential people coming in and they're serving them in like, again, people, not being funny, people like me. They bring me in with a big audience who's local and, serving this audience. And I'm like, you guys got to go to Cash and Carry, right? Like look at this. Look at what they gave me tonight. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Come check this out. And you've got 10 of those people a week, real estate agents, lawyers, local influencers, whatever, business owners. Now you're creating shareable content without even being on social media. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's the same principle. It's the same idea. What's going to get shared? You're not going to share let me look at that real quick.
That's easy right there.
Let's cry again.
Let's look at Cash and Carry. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's shared a whole bunch of times. Cash and... Which one was it? I don't remember which one it was. This one, right? I don't see it shared at all. I don't think it's been shared at all. 23 likes and no comments. Yeah, they don't show shares on this, but if you go to like a Red Bull, I'm sure if we were to pull up on my phone, you can see the shares. The amount of
you can see on web.
You can on Insights?
I think you can. No.
Like when you get in?
If I click on it, maybe?
No. You're probably...
All right, here we go. We're just going to do it. I know it's going to take an extra 30 seconds, but we're going to check it out. Cash and Carry, Reels. This got shared a total of 1 time. The Red Bull, probably the owner.
It was Cassandra sharing it with her boss, being like, look.
Yeah, the boss is on.
Telling my boss that this is not working.
It is not working.
Yeah,
You know what?
this Red Bull one got shared 3,000 times, almost 3,000 times, right? So shareable content is the key. Yeah.
It's probably delicious. It is
Oh,
horrible.
But imagine showing me, like you said, what I can do with these.
Yeah.
Right? Or how I can use these or how I can.
Yes.
That's marketing. This is what Dominican businesses want to do. They think this is good content, and it's not.
And that's another stuff. I don't know how to tell them, like, that's not working and it's not gonna work.
Like that.
Because you put it Yes, but her husband, that is the owner, would say, no, that's not selling my product, so it won't work.
Yeah.
I think that you should make like a slide.
Wait a second.
And
What?
then like
Yeah.
how you can do it, how you will make it work, and you say like, why don't we just try for, I don't know.
I was going to say, there's nothing to
let's
lose.
try it.
No one's
Yeah.
looking at your stuff.
I'm trying that.
That's what I would say. Like, no one's looking anyway, so let me make the next 10. Let me do it my way for 10, and let's just compare the 10 before and the 10 I do, and look at these metrics. Reels interactions.
I can do that.
Yeah, and also like if
Write it down, Cassandra, so you don't forget.
if you're creating educational videos on ideas how to use the product, there's no way he can tell you it's not selling the product because
You're showing the product.
it's about the
And
product.
you can also tell him that, well, something that we're learning with Brilla, that you saw someone that is consuming like the products, but they don't know how to actually cook them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I heard someone in my school, why don't we just do this?
So there you go.
Try that.
Anyway, any other takeaways before I wrap up? Any other quick takeaways that anybody had?
Oh, I want to say something.
Yeah.
I like picking up on things things that are repeated a lot, because I think that if a lot of people say it, it's something that may be true.
True. Yeah.
So something I get from here is something that we've been talking a lot here, and it is the importance of telling the story behind the brand or the actual thing, if there's only like a product or something or
Yeah.
a service. And yeah, I love that because that actually gets you more emotionally involved with that. And getting emotions from something is something that drags you to that brand, and also creates the loyalty that we're always looking for.
Yes, 100%. This guy, Nick Santanastasio, is a friend of mine. He's a big speaker. He's with The Rock. He was born. He was.
He came once here.
Oh, did he?
He did.
Oh, I didn't know that. I should.
Years ago, I went.
Okay, before I lived here. I was gonna say he didn't text me. But Nick was born with one arm and one finger on that arm. That's how. This isn't an accident. He wasn't injured. He was born this way. It's a rare condition called hand-heart syndrome. And he's helped me a lot with stage speaking. And his whole thing, he would say to you when he gets on stage and he speaks on, like, if you know Tony Robbins stages, it's a 3-step process for speaking. It's story, teach, tool. Story, teach, tool. Tell a story, teach the lesson in that story, and then provide a tool. The tool could be a question. The tool could be a place to go look, a suggested website or whatever. But what's the story? It all starts with a story, and teach the lesson in that story, and then what's the tool? Again, you can apply that to content the same way. Tell a story, teach the lesson, give them a tool, and go for shares.
Thank you very much.
That's it. Yeah.
My takeaway is don't sell unless they're begging you for it.
Yeah. I like that one. So, well, thank you, everybody. Appreciate it.
Like,
Oh.
You are that guy.
You are that guy. Yeah. Oh, me?
You're
Yeah.
that guy.
Yes, I know. I am that guy. Thank you. Yeah. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Amy.
Yeah.
We play a game here after each week.
Of what?
They're waiting for that.
Okay.
I want a new game.
No.
See?
No, not a new game. That's her game. That's her game. One word that describes Jamie from
Oh,
each one of you. 2 words.
2 words?
Yes?
It's very necessary.
Very necessary?
Yes.
Thank you.
Value.
Value. Thank you.
Value.
Yeah.
Trend.
Trends.
Trend.
I like that.
Experience.
Yeah.
Experience.
Clever. Clever.
Clever.
Glamour.
Okay, next. Thank you.
Like hacker, or like you just know how to.
The ins and outs. Yeah. Life hack. Social media hack. Yeah.
Strategy.
Strategy.
I like that.
Value too.
Okay.
Value.
Attention.
Attention.
I like that.
Nico.
Creative.
Creative.
Yeah. Thank you.
Passion or intentional?
Passion.
Thank you.
Passional, intentional.
Yeah. Wow.
So, that's good. You see?
Good. Yeah.
And then we have one person that do silent reviews.
That does what? I'm sorry.
Silent reviews.
Silent reviews?
That's a new thing. You're
this?
not into the trend? Silent reviews? Oh my God.
No.
You should have.
I don't think I
You
do.
know what a silent review is?
It's too loud in here. I can't concentrate on being silent. No.
Okay, what is silent?
Well, this is something that I picked up from the Bookstagram niche.
Bookstagram.
Yes, and it is that you like make an expression either with your face or your body to express how the book made you feel.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so silent review for Jamie?
Ah. I love it. That was great. Thank you. I got all of that. I felt
think
it.
that the silent reviews are gonna make me a better actress.
Yeah.
I love it. So, Jamie, thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you. This is fun. Glad to come. Yeah. Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. My pleasure.
So, where can they follow you?
Oh, yeah.
You should have shown your
I should have.
We're now begging him.
It's right. Build the snowball here.
No.
So the Jamie Gruber. THE. Yep. Jamie, JAMIE. That should probably pull it right up. The Jamie.
YouTube?
YouTube too. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
You did that.
that's
You-
my only social media.
So YouTube, good. Yeah, I love you. YouTube's my favorite. Instagram's secondary. It's bigger following, but YouTube went from 0 to about 22,000 subs in the last 7 months or so. So yeah, YouTube's grown a lot. It's the same thing, the Jamie Gruber, if you're looking for the handle on YouTube. Yeah.
The crazy part is that you're into Jamie Gruber, but you're also the guy.
The guy.
The guy.
I love it.
The guy who posts about market.
Oh.
Punta Cana, I post on social media, and
Yeah.
I see your feed.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's that guy.
That's funny. I get one of two things. Either a lot of people come up, want a picture, say hi or whatever. That's very nice. Or I get home. I'll be honest. Some days I go out and like nobody recognized me, and I'm like, what's going on? But I'll get messages like, hey, I saw you here. I didn't want to bother you. I saw you at like, hey, were you at? I get that one a lot. Like, was that you at this place? I'm like, yeah. Like I nobody looks like this. I don't think here.
For your merch, you
Yeah.
should create a baseball cap that looks like a ball.
Ah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
There you go, the Calvito cap. Yeah. I like it. That's a good idea. That guy.
Yes, I'm that guy.
That's amazing. No, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you. This was fun. Yeah, thank you. This is great. All right, let me turn this off if it's still even recording.